I don't know the issues. I go by feeling.
Yeah.
And I go by the direction the wind is blowing. I mean, I think this is the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
For some reason. We were talking on Monday about, how we're worried about our children now.
That's right.
What world are our children going to go into? All I ever wanted was to have a child with this woman. And now are our children going to be able to buy a house?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are our children going to be able to have the same things we had? Who the fuck knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
But these is what, you have to think about or not think about.
Yeah.
And move on. But it's a different world right now.
It's a different world. But when you got kids, it is, really loving, really understanding what it's like to love somebody more than you love yourself and not give a fuck what happens to you, but you just want to throw down for that kid. The only reason you're on this earth is for that kid. And it's crazy to actually face the fact that, like, you might be leaving them a world that's worse off than you came in. You think about all the things you had as a kid. You're like, wow, my kid, I don't they can't really experience that, I don't know. And I'm sure, like, I was walking through New York, I'm doing down here for press, and I was thinking about, man, can you imagine New York in the 70s and the 80s? You always think how much better it was. And I remember what it was like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the fucking energy, the palpability of anything could happen at any fucking moment, and just how electric that was. And there was that feeling, if you can make it here, you can fucking make it I don't care what you do. But I remember pounding the fucking pavement as an actor, thinking I didn't have a fucking hope in the world, but I just keep on grinding, keep on pounding. The electricity fueled me. But now you're like, you see it and you're like, wow, like what are these kids coming up seeing? Like everyone's on their fucking phones. But then again, maybe you're just like, hey, look, I'm just an old fuck, like every other miserable fuck from every other generation who thinks that, like, kids today don't know anything and they're missing out on anything. And I don't know if that's just part about life and getting older.
I don't want to be that old fuck.
Me neither.
You don't ever want to. My day,
and the electricity 10, 20 years ago in New York, that shit ain't, like, I was out last night in New York. It's cool, but that ain't what it was fucking 10, 20 years ago.
No, and you should have had it in the 80s.
I can only imagine.
When it was like a paradise to go over there, living here, and especially where I lived. I lived 8 minutes from the city.
Right.
So it was dessert.
Right.
It was always dessert.
Right.
Like, we did this in Jersey. Can you imagine what we're going to do in New York at 3 a.m.? Let's just go over there, get a case of beer, and see where the night takes us. New York was a fucking great place. I'm too old, but I wish I could have done a play.
Yeah.
Like, and put all that time you have to in a play and not worry about money.
But you could do that, Joe. You could still do that.
Bro, I got my agent reached out to me last week.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this. She goes, I sent this department all my actors, and the only one they wanted to see was you.
Fuck yeah.
It's to go up to Yale on Monday.
Yale Rep?
To Yale, the college, I guess.
Yeah.
And do a table read at the David Geffen Arena or something.
That's Yale. It's a great theater. Go fucking do that. Go fucking do that.
I'm going to do it next time.
Joe, you would crush theater, and I'm telling you, man, that is where the big boys go, man. Fuck all this on-camera shit. I mean, it's like, great, we do it, whatever. No second takes, no nothing. Like, think with you and your background, what you're able to do, like no other comic in the world. You on stage and your acting ability, it would be a fucking revolution.
I would love to do.
I would love to do a play with you.
I always wanted, like, I've been talking to Vince Pastore, Pussy, about doing the one about the butcher. No, Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream
first, and then the one about the butcher, with the ugly butcher that falls in love with the good-looking chick, played by Ernest Borgnine. We always read it in acting class. I forget what the fuck, Sam or something like that. Yeah. Who the fuck knows? No, it's not Sweeney fucking Todd. No, do I look like Sweeney Todd to you?
No.
But I always felt when you're a stand-up, you feel very insecure on a set.
Sure.
But then again, like, I got an audition the other day, and I looked at, you always look at shit. And I could tell by reading the audition that it was a fucking hand job. It gave you too much information. And then I saw who's in the movie, who casted themselves in the movie already. It's a husband and wife team. His rating on IMDb is 400,000. And hers is like 600,000. So they want me to read for this movie. I go, and my wife was looking at it at the phone. I go, it says SAG scale, but trust me, there's a by the way there. You could tell just how they send it to you. And sure enough, on the bottom, she goes, yeah, It's still waiting for SAG-AFTRA approval. I go, fuck them, because they just want to. So when you're in a movie, you have a lot of those things. You have a lot of people that just cast themselves or whatever. But I think in theater, those are the high-level fucking people.
Straight, especially at a place like that, too.
Especially, so you kind of get. But this was Yale. They were going to give me $210.
Yeah. There's no money. There's no money in
I was taking a train out of Penn Station, but then taking an Uber home. From Yale.
That $210 is for that Uber.
A New Haven, Connecticut or something like that.
Yeah, straight up.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So they just wanted me to do the table read. So next time they do contact me, I will go up there.
Yeah, I think you should.
I would love to.
That's great.
But I don't know if I could do those 80-hour fucking rehearsals, man.
But you know what? Like, I don't know, rehearsal's fucking heaven. It's fucking heaven. It's where you can try anything. That's how you grow. It's like it's like getting allotted time to work on your set, but with other people. You know what I mean? With other people inspiring you and challenging you and there's nothing in the world like rehearsal. I fucking live for it. Anything can happen in rehearsal. You're there to take risks. You're there to fail. You're there to fuck up. Like, when else you get to do that as an artist? Like, it's like, look, I'm sure you have your own way of working on what you work on, and you have your own method for your comedy, right? But for an actor, it's like, we gotta like carve out our fucking time to put our work in. But this is determined, set, 8, 9, 10-hour days where everyone's gotta fucking be there. You gotta be on stage and everyone's throwing down. So it's like, think about the shit you can discover and how you can grow. We don't get that. It's like playing baseball, right? Like, you fucking play baseball, you can work, you can hit off a tee. You know what I mean? If you don't have anybody else, you can throw a ball against a fucking tree, right? You can like stretch, you can work out. But in order to play the game, you got to have a bunch of other people with all the equipment, with the field, with the ball. They got to be willing to play. They all got to be allowed to be there at the same time. That's how you get better at baseball. You go to practice. The way you get better as an actor is you go to play rehearsal. You don't do it by sitting alone in your fucking living room saying the lines to a mirror. You don't say it by like the 10 seconds you get between action and cut on a film set. You driving in the car, you're saying the lines over and over. What fucking practice is that? You know what I mean? Rehearsal is fucking where you... I
love it. I love all that shit. I like when they block on a movie.
Yeah.
I love all that. I've always loved that.
Imagine doing that for 8 hours.
Dog, I got to tell you a funny story. I don't think I told you. So we do the table read. Yeah. Ray's there.
Yeah.
I respect the shit out of Ray Liotta. I love Ray Liotta. Yeah. I say, how you doing? I keep it to a minimum. He's from Union, New Jersey, up the corner here. So I keep it to a minimum. I don't see Ray for like 2 weeks, and we're shooting, and all of a sudden Ray shows up, and it's like 5 in the morning. I'm in my trailer smoking dope, and I finish my joint, and I go to makeup, and there's Ray next to me. I don't say good morning. How you doing, ladies? Good. And all of a sudden, on the way out, I go, Ray, not for nothing. If you want to rehearse the lines, let me know. Yeah. Do you know this motherfucker didn't even answer me?
He heard you though?
Oh yeah, he heard me loud and clear, and he just looked over at me, and he just fucking turned his face. I'm like, motherfucker, right? So I'm like, I'm not gonna say nothing to this motherfucker. Yeah. Now we get into the scene. Yeah. It's a table and Satriali's and shit, and he's sitting there at the end, and I'm sitting right next to him. So I gotta live off. I don't say a word.